So some of these stories you have, of course, heard earlier, but 1,400 nurses have been fired in New York after refusing the COVID-19 vaccine. Pix 11 reports New York State's largest healthcare provider, Northwell Health, let go of all staff who wouldn't get the COVID-19 vaccination. Additionally, Upstate University Hospital and St. Joseph's Health have suspended or laid off workers choosing not to get vaccinated. At this time, Northwell Health says they're looking to fill the vacancies. According to the governor, she is prepared to call in the National Guard to fill the hundreds of thousands of vacancies expected in healthcare due to that mandate. And next, we are taking another look at the Arlington school shooting. One student is in custody after 4 people were injured in the high school shooting in Arlington, Texas on Wednesday. MSNBC reports 18-year-old Timothy Simpkin is charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Police report a fight broke out between 2 students at a Mansfield ISD school Wednesday morning. We do have that clip for you, but we are not going to play the audio because there's some profanities in there, so we can play that in the background. The 2 officers on campus responded immediately and 1,700 students were evacuated safely. Simpkins turned himself in later that day with his attorney. At this time, ATF is running ballistics and investigating exactly how he got that gun, like we talked about before. And the search continues for Brian Laundrie, who's a suspect connected to the homicide of his fiancee, Gabby Petito. His sister said she hasn't seen her brother after he returned to Florida without his girlfriend or fiancee, who just traveled with him on a cross-country trek to national parks. Laundrie is reported missing by his family in mid-September, and Gabby's body was found in Wyoming September 19th and ruled a homicide. Her funeral was held September 26th in New York. And more than 144,000 gallons of crude oil spilled into the waters off Huntington Beach, California. That was over the weekend. Crews have been working to clean up that spill, considered one of the largest in recent California history, according to the Associated Press. Coast Guard officials said some fish and birds were caught in the oil and died, and for now, 6 miles of that beach are closed. It likely happened from a Houston-based Amplify Energy Corps pipeline that had a slow leak. It's unknown exactly why it happened, but USA Today reports, quote, that data shows the Rotterdam Express, a German flagship nearly 1,000 feet long, was assigned to Anchorage SF3, the closest to where the pipeline ruptured off of Huntington Beach. The ship made 3 unusual movements over 2 days that appeared to put it over the pipeline. That investigation, of course, is still ongoing. And last, but of course not least, as we all know, Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram were down for 6 hours on Monday, the morning after the whistleblower went on CBS, a former Facebook employee saying the social network fed into the Capitol riot to say one of a few things she said. In a 60 Minutes interview, she said, quote, Facebook prematurely turned off safeguards designed to thwart misinformation and rabble-rousing after Joe Biden defeated Donald Trump in last year's election. She said they frequently chose money and what's best for Facebook over what's best for the public, according to the AP. CNN reports she also said Facebook products, quote, harm children, stoke division, and weaken our democracy. The full interview, of course, can be seen on CBS. And Frank, that's kind of what you were talking about. You know, we're so divided right now, and sometimes, you know, social media is great for a lot of reasons, but that division gets amplified.
Well, I tell people this in my own personal life all the time. Mm-hmm. If you have a problem with the 2020 election, get over it. Mm-hmm. Joe Biden's the president. He's going to be the president until 2024 for the next election. If he runs again, that he could be the president again. I mean, we've got to just in this country now, we've got to get over a lot of these issues that we're dealing with, and we got to get down to governing. Mm-hmm. You see, getting elected is the easy part. Mm-hmm. You know, Ross Perot Sr. used to tell me all the time, and Junior used to tell me all the time, the easy part is selling business. The hard part is actually processing that business. Actually, running it. And you know, it's not that hard, I don't think, to get elected. But once you get elected, you actually have to govern. Yeah. And the governing part. But, you know, I think on the Republican side, you know, you just got to get over it. I mean, mm-hmm. the election was deemed fair and square by so many different courts that you can't even add it up. The long and short of it is, he's our president of the United States. If you voted for him, you're happy. If you didn't, he's still your president. Mm-hmm. And you got to respect the office. On the other side, with the Democrats, they control now the House and the Senate. My advice, if I was brought up to Washington and they brought me into their caucus and they said, what should we do? I'd say, watch out what you wish for, because you guys have all the control now. 2022 is right around the corner. So you've got to start doing things that are benefiting everybody, because this short-term stuff and everything polarized, it just doesn't work.
It doesn't work. You can't get things done. And when people are riding in the streets and saying, not my president, it doesn't work. It didn't work when Trump was president. It's not going to work while Biden is president. I mean, you're absolutely right. We just need to look to the future, come together, and try to make decisions that are best for our country. And I don't covet the presidential position. I can't imagine making those decisions, but that's why you have a team around you.
Yeah, and you hope that they are on top of things, and you hope that they're looking at the bigger picture. I could tell you, even running a company, you have all different types of people that are inside a company. The great coach, Jimmy Johnson, who coached the Dallas Cowboys, he just got into the Hall of Fame. He coached the University of Miami. He actually coached the Dolphins for a while. He had a great quote. He said, I treat every player differently because everyone learns differently. They act differently. I think we have to understand that in our country, we have so many different diverse people that we've just got to, that there's not one size fixes all. It doesn't work that way. We've got to figure out, for the greater good, how we can start bringing this country together.
Well, I certainly hope something happens, because it is very extreme on both ways. On social media, you see so much extremes